Okay, this is my Morrison 15-inch riser that I really love. It fits my hand. I just love everything about this riser. But I found a design flaw or a machining error or whatever you want to call it this afternoon. I had a tear in the rotator cuff, so I lightened the weight on this. I actually used the video I made yesterday, you know, how to shoot a single bear shaft, tune a single bear shaft. And I decided I was going to increase the pounds a little for my shoulders, see how I could handle it. And what I noticed was when I went to tighten the bolt, this limb was sitting on top of the riser. It wouldn't go down. I says, wow, I says, there's something wrong with this here, that it's laying on top. I'll explain, you know, I explain it a little better on the next video. But I called Morrison and I told him, I said, listen, I says, have you had any problems with anybody saying that the limbs are hitting the back wall and they're not locking all the way into the dovetail? And he said, well, one person called with TradTech limbs and said that they weren't going in all the way. So I says, well, what did you tell them to do? I said, how did you fix it? And he says, I told them to sand the limbs so that there'd be room for them to lock into the dovetail. And I'm like, these are $700 limbs. These are Yuki-Uric limbs. I'm not going to sand these limbs. He says, well, he says, you know, my limbs fit. I said, yeah, well, your limbs fit, but they're supposed to be ILF. So everything, all these ILF limbs are supposed to fit. So he says, I understand that. I said, well, I says, I happen to know somebody with a machine shop, and maybe he can cut it for me. And I explain that in the second part of the video. I'm adding this as a precursor to the video I shot this afternoon, just so you know that I spoke to him and I told him that I was going to look and try and find a solution for me for this riser. But I figured I owed it to everybody to tell them, because I tell all you guys I love this riser. I want you to be able to go and check and make sure it's good. So if you take the limb bolt out, okay, and you slide the riser like this up and it don't go down because it's sitting on the ledge, you know you have a defect. If you have it down, the bolt's down, and you slide it, okay, it's not all the way at the end of the dovetail like it is now. See how it wiggles? Okay, it would be jammed against the back wall. All right, so I'm gonna just add this in the front end of the video. The second video will explain a little better. I'm gonna show you how I grounded with a Dremel and fixed it and repaired it like it is now. Okay, and would I buy from him again? Yeah, it's, you know, things happen, you know, manufacturing, or something happened, a miscommunication. I know we had a new machine shop making the risers. You know, maybe he didn't even pick up on this, you know what I mean? It's like the refrigerator light. You know, if the light's on when you close the door, well, if the bolt's down and you slide this forward and it's hitting, is it locked in all the way in the dovetail? Well, the reason, how you could tell is if it flexes. It wouldn't move before, it was just jammed against the back wall, okay? But now that I cut it, it moves, all right? So watch my second half, the video I just shot this afternoon, and watch me grind it and fix it. Okay, this is my Morrison 15-inch riser, which I love. And I had the limb bolts adjusted all the way out for a lighter weight for the limbs. And I said, today I'm gonna make it a little tighter, a little more pounds. And what I discovered was that the limbs don't sit in the pockets. They sit on top of the edge here. You see this edge? The limbs sit on top of that edge. They don't, if I pull it back where it's not supposed to be, back, see how they go in? So it's a design error. So I called Morrison, and he said, I told him, I said, I know somebody with a machine shop, possibly they can work on it for me. See, and cut it back a little bit so it could fit in the pocket. But see how it sits on the top? It don't go any lower. See the space? And this has always been noisy. And it's been noisy because the edge has been rubbing. I think that's the riser noise. It's been rubbing. So that was my problem. It's been rubbing on the edge. So I'm going to see if this can be cut back a little towards me, where it'll allow it to drop in. All right, so that's what's going on with this Morrison riser. Okay, what an unbelievable amount of material came off. You can see with the little sparkles here. All right, a lot of material. Okay, bottom, top. Okay. If it wasn't for this really aggressive Dremel head here and being careful using it, I would have never been able to take off that much material. And then use a grind and polishing head. Okay, now that it's fixed, I set it up, even tillers, check the brace height. I'm just going to take a shot just to see how it is. Okay, shoots good, and I know nothing's rubbing. I feel a lot better knowing that everything's working properly the way it's supposed to be. Okay, watch my other videos. I'm Bare Boat Joe.